think that Indigenous led is like it's by the people to understand like culture and language and ceremony. I think that they're all connected and create this bundle, you know, for us to be able to draw energy from, because it resembles and reflects, you know, in both direction, like it's reciprocal, like so whatever, you know, the Indigenous led, whatever that concept is to, you know, be led by our own people and for our input to be from the people. Like that's the relationship that I feel from, you know, doing ceremony, and especially the Thanksgiving address. Like I think that's, you know, part of our learning is to be able to respect and to embrace, you know, the different elements into our life, and to have our you know, Indigenous led to be understanding of those concepts and to incorporate them, because all of those elements are all working together and they're leading us to a place of health. So, you know, and especially mental health. We have to have good mental health in order to, you know, to operate, to look after our families, to look after our community, to look after our crops, you know, to go berry picking, to go, you know, to be inclusive of all of those medicines that, you know, come to us of their own, I don't know if you would say free will, or if they're just, you know, because I believe that everything within creation is, has been given instruction of how to be and how to give. They all have their own identity. And when we embrace those things and, you know, we, you know, sort of like resemble or reflect their energy that they bring to us, like it's revitalizing us, it's restructuring and, you know, re-energizing us to be the people, you know, but we have to have that Indigenous led by all of that understanding to be included in this bundle, so that when, you know, there's a need that arises, that we can open a bundle and look inside, and we'll be directed to where that medicine or that healing or that ceremony is, in order to bring us up and to reconnect us and to, you know, to really focus on what those teachings are about, to expand our minds, you know, beyond, you know, just like having Indigenous leadership. Like it's more than that. Like leadership can, you know, do many things, but if they're not in a place of inclusive, like in including and looking at the environment and being able to use those energies to bring us all up together. So I think that, you know, Indigenous led has, you know, deeper meaning than, you know, just having an Indigenous person to stand and say, I'm Indigenous and I can lead this group. You know, you have to know the stories. You have to know your beginnings. You have to know how everything is connected in order to give good life. So, you know, in understanding that revolving energy, like it's about the acknowledgement and the validation of all of those elements that we incorporate into, you know, whether it's food, medicine, water, the air, you know, the grandfather thunders, all of those elements, when we include them and think about the energy that they exert to us when they come to visit. You know, so it's understanding those relationships, you know, and being able to utilize those to build, you know, and to teach and to share, you know, so that it's not just words, It's not just like a statement. It's like we have to participate in it. We have to have action, and that's why language is so important, is to be able to speak and to know that this language is connected somewhere. It gives us that identity. And, you know, it's easier to connect when you know someone is of a like mind, you know, to share and to have a conversation and come to a complete understanding, because, you know, we all know things. We all come with a gift. And when we incorporate all of those gifts together, we get this abundance of energy and medicine, you know, everything that helps us to rise to our fullest potential. You know, it's not about labeling, or, you know, it's not about siloing, you know, in our communities. It's about being a part of each other, and that we're, you know, giving those, you know, the community resource. And, you know, I had heard a while back that, you know, that we're, as Indigenous people, that, you know, we have this huge wealth, and that, you know, but we're money poor. You know, and I think about that, you know, and I think, you know, I, like over the years, like just, you know, trying to be more clear in delivery and sharing with people that, you know, finding those answers is taking time just to be, and to talk with the plants, to have a conversation, you know, and to be able to bring forth that energy of you know, coming together so that our bundles are full, you know, and that we can just open that up, and, you know, and as soon as we open it, we see the medicine that's available to us. You know, so when we look around and, you know, think about that resource, that in the middle of that Thanksgiving address I stand, and I see how every element is complementary to my life. But if I don't open my mind and to receive the energy, then, you know, there's a blockage there. And why is that blockage there? You know, it's because we've been led away from understanding who we are. We haven't been validated for who we are, you know, and that we have knowledge that goes beyond, you know, just today. And using our minds, you know, is such a great thing. You know, that's what my mom used to say was, you know, you got a brain, use it. And I think that, you know, in today's world, that we don't spend enough time thinking, because we're too busy trying to survive. Because of policy, you know, that is handed down through government, that policy is always continuing to, you know, to cut us down more and more and more. And it looks like, you know, that it's changing up, and that, you know, there are more opportunities, but in the same sense, it's chipping away at who we are. And we lose something every day, whether it's, you know, through policy and you know, and it cuts away from all of the treaties that were put in place for our people. And those treaties were valid documents. And I think that's, you know, where we get lost, is that, you know, the ancestors or you know, the settlers that came into this place, that they had only one thing on their mind. It wasn't about, you know, enhancing life, but it was about wealth. It was about greed, you know, and to, you know, to take over the earth and control that, you know, and we know that it's impossible to do that, but they do it by controlling the people, you know, by taking away, you know, the images that they have and that connection to the ancestors, because it's not real, you know, and yet they've created a world of, you know, of fantasy, you know, like all of the, you know, the parks that exist, the wonderlands, and, the Disneylands and Disney worlds, and it takes us into a place that we think makes us feel good, but it's a whole disconnect from who we are as a people, because the beauty lies in the development of, when in the spring, and we see the flowers blooming and we see the medicines growing, we see the animals starting to come alive, the crawling creatures, and, all of that is all had instruction, of how to be and how to create balance and harmony. They all, move through a cycle of looking after themselves and knowing their role and responsibility. And then, they enhance life because they keep the balance, like from rodents, from, insects, but everything had a responsibility. So today we don't know that, because all of our animals are being like trophies. The animals are being killed because of trophies, of who's the best hunter. There's all of this competition, to be the best, to be the greatest. It's not about that. It's about the equity, the equality of people, that enhancement of life, is all of these things that come under being Indigenous led. So I think that's really important, that you have to have a basis. You have to have a foundation of how to grow. And you have to know where you come from. You have to know your origin, because all of those things have been provided for, the people who come from, we all come from a different land, but that land is what gives identity to the people, because only certain foods can grow from it. Only certain medicines grow in that area. There's different kinds of animals that grow in different areas. Well, the reason for that was to create that food, that medicine, all for the people that are located in those areas where, the climate is different. But they're taken care of because they can have these foods that are their sustenance, which gives them information and connects them too with their own bodies, because we have those elements within our body that resemble those foods that we grow. So it's an Indigenous led, I think, is understanding those ideas and being able to put those things into practice and to, so that it is a reflection of our teachings, and that we're actually living that. We're actually doing the work, to be able to make these relationships complementary, so that we are empowering the people, to rise up and to take our place and our responsibility and to activate and to make it work. So I think that's how I view Indigenous led. It has to be our voice. It has to be our stories. It has to be, where we come from and our belief system,